Welcome back to Disney Coffee and Book Talk. I'm your host, Alex. Today we're covering Cars 2. Now, I've covered Cars. Cars 2 was kind of a flop. So, while there were amazing Easter eggs in this, it was a flop. It really was. So, I did not expect there to eventually be a Cars 3, but that'll be our next full video. So let's dive right into Cars 2 Easter eggs. Cars 2. So we're starting off with Finn McMissile, and we're starting off with this longitude latitude, which is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And we see Professor Z, who looks oddly like the bad guy in Captain America with the German accent, being, working for the Nazis. Yeah, so anyway, he is bad, but he is not the one fully in charge. He's just the scientist. The way that they destroyed the car that was the other agent is very much like WALL-E. That is the only link to WALL-E thus far. So I want to make that clear. And then we have Finn McMissile, who is watching this whole thing and getting clips of it. They renamed the Piston Cup after Hudson Hornet. If I remember correctly, Mater did mention Lightning McQueen has now won 4, which means he technically beat Hudson Hornet's record. And they're still honoring him. They're saying they miss him. So Fabulous Hudson Hornet is no longer. We don't exactly know what happened, but we're going to assume that he died in whatever possible way cars die in this world. We don't truly know. If you look at the Radiator Springs Drive-In sign, it says the Incredicarbles, which is the Incredibles car version. Now, Mel Dorado kind of reminded me of Howard Stern. Now, I am not saying that this is an Easter egg for him. It was not, just my reminder. However, it is voiced, he is voiced by Patrick Walker. Patrick Walker actually has been on quite a number of movies and shows. NCIS New Orleans, Road to Lyrics, Greenleaf, Scream, the TV series. What else was there? He was in Iron Fist. That is, in fact, Marvel. He was in The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, A Bad Mom's Christmas. He was Marco in 911. He was on Grey's Anatomy. So you might have seen his face around, okay? You might have heard his voice around. He's not new to the scene. Now, Miles Axelrod is actually played by Eddie Izzard, who is non-binary. They go by he or she. Doesn't matter. That's what they said. You might have heard their voice as Voldemort in the Lego Batman movie. As one of the prisoners in the Phantom Zone, among other things. I'm trying to here we go. Dress to Kill, Rock Dog, The Wild, which was an awful movie. The Lost Symbol, Valkyrie, 6 Minutes to Midnight, Dr. Jackal, Ocean's 12, Shadow of the Vampire, Hannibal, Culprits, The Chronicles of Narnia, and Igor, Green Eggs and Ham, which my son really, really likes, by the way. Rock Dog 3, and so much more. So, again, another very notable voice that you've probably heard around. So Ramon hooked Lightning McQueen up with actual lights because in Cars, he didn't have lights and he talked about it. And then they're off to Tokyo, and you can also see London. These are two locations that they will be visiting in this particular movie, but there are other films that take place in these two locations, so it's going to be notable when we get towards the end. On the TV, they were watching Wipeout with Cars version, which I thought was kind of funny. And then we see Tokyo and we get Mount Fuji in the back, which is really pretty. And we kind of get a glimpse throughout the city as they're driving. We have McLean, a joke off of Lightning McQueen. And we see there being tourists. We have them watching geisha and we see them going to sumo. All of this before they go to the big party. So here we have Jeff Gorvet, or Jeff Gordon, who is the yellow car, and then the black car is Lewis Hamilton, who is actually voiced by Lewis Hamilton, who is a known British race car driver. So I thought that was cool. So here we have David Hobbs Cap, which is voiced by David Hobbs. We have Daryl Cartrip, who is voiced by Daryl Waltrip, I apologize. And we have Brent Mutzenberger, who is voiced by Brent Musburger. Sorry, it's Mustang Burger, voiced by Brent Musburger. That's a handful of a word. And all three are actual broadcasters for car racing. Then we get these glimpses. Miguel Camino from Spain, Camino car. Raul Carul from France. And here we have an Easter egg on the wall. And we have Finn McMissile. He's finally meeting Mater, and he's talking about, are you part of the FBI? Are you CIA? And Mater makes the joke, no, I'm AAA. Also behind Mater, you see Samurai, a joke of Japan being known for samurais. And here on Sid is A113 on the, I don't know what part of the plane it is, but on the back, I think it's the back tail is what it's called. So I thought this was interesting. They mentioned Lucas Electrical System. I don't know if this is truly an Easter egg, but maybe it's a coincidence. George Lucas originally helped create Pixar back in the 1980s when they were still doing shorts like Wall-E, Andre and Wall-E, right? And then Lucas went on to complete and work with his Star Wars, which was his real passion. So maybe it's just me, maybe not, who knows. I also want to mention that Mater here goes on like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, or good Mater. So it's a State Farm commercial joke, little ring ting. Now they are in France, so they went from Japan to France. And we had the Arc de Triomphe, we have the Notre Dame, which, the Hunchback of Notre Dame is set there. We have Gastos, from Ratatouille. And, of course, we have the Eiffel Tower with the mime. The mime is notable because the mime shows up in now Cars 2, Incredibles, as well as Ratatouille. The next leg of the trip is going to be Italy, in Porto Corso, and this is like Porto Rosso, which is where Luca takes place, which I know comes out very much later, but if you know the way that Pixar and Disney does things, they have like 10 to 20 projects ready to be worked on at one time. They like are always having multiple projects going at once and kind of having it laid out in different areas. So I am not surprised that this takes place in a place where we are going to see another movie. And yes, it is the exact same layout that we see in Luca. Now, spies Finn McMissile and Holly Stillwell think that Mater is one of them. He's like an American spy. And here we have two of the many costumes that he ends up trying on. This is going to be notable because at the end of the movie, they go to Germany, and this is what Mater's wearing. But the vampire one, um, there is a Mater short where he's wearing this costume. Here we have two more shots of what Porto Corso or Port Rosa are like. If you notice in this shot, the the end is of course like a car, because why the heck not? And then lastly, in this shot of like the background, and I'm only talking the background, we have way more Easter eggs to go. We have a Pope version, a car Pope. So here is a joke, Alexander and the Not So Great. If you know the book Alexander and the Not So Great, Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, which is also a Disney movie, and it was a book prior, well, that is the joke off of this. Maybe that should be my name, or Chop Chop Alex. I think that'd be kind of funny, but whatever. It's just a joke, guys. I'm not actually going to go that way. So Mater, Holly, and Finn McMissile were all captured, and they're being held in Big Bentley. Bentley being a type of car, but Big Ben, it's a joke. Ha ha ha. Okay, not that funny. But this links back to a lot of different movies, from 101 Dalmatians to um Peter Pan being more obvious, to um Pocahontas when they're showing London, Big Ben is there. So there's quite a lot of that. We also have Buckingham Palace, and we have the Queen Elizabeth, who RIP, and her grandson, Prince William. And if you notice on the back, it says Lasseter. That is a joke of Lasseter, John Lasseter, who was the main animator and head of Pixar for the longest time. Wondering when Dinoco was gonna pop up? Well, we have Dino Wine. You know, a joke off of, hey, Dinoco. Also, there was mention of dinosaur fuel. Yeah, that is true. Fuel is based off dinosaur. Which is a great joke for the good dinosaur. Anyway, let's move on. In the back of this bar, we have a tapestry that shows Brave in car version. And here's the outside of the bar. You left turn. At the end of the movie, we see these two minivans return from Cars, who were traveling through in Radiator Springs in the original movie. And then we hit the credits where we have Moulin Rouge, which is a movie but also an actual location in France. We have the Matterhorn, or the Matterhorn in this case, which is an actual mountain, but it is also a ride at, I believe it's Disney World? Hold on. The Matterhorn ride, my bad. The Matterhorn ride, which is spelled slightly different, is a ride at Disneyland, not Disney World. So it's in California. Then we have the Bulls of Spain, Ferdinand, which was from the parent company of Disney, put that out. Great movie, by the way, set in France. He is the bull. But I also want to mention that when I first took this screenshot, it looked like Mater had a goofy hat with the ears. It's not that, but I just thought that was kind of funny. They traveled throughout Italy, through Pisa and Rome, Russia. We have Egypt with the Great Pyramids of Giza and the car of Sphinx. We have the Taj Mahal. We have the Great Wall of China. We have the terracotta cars or terracotta men from China. We have Sydney, Australia, which Finding Nemo goes to. We have Hawaii. We have San Francisco, and we have the land. Thank you guys for stopping by, watching my video. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so. Press that like button, and always let me know down below what your favorite Easter egg is or what you want me to cover next. Much love to you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.